Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Clipen. I'm sitting here talking to Lemon. I'd say he's a little bit infamous for shitting on Halo Reach and Halo 4. If you haven't seen his about hour-long video, I'll link it in the description. Yeah, he pretty much breaks down Halo and explains why they ruined it and what they should do with, well, it was actually with Halo 4, but we already know that that was bad, so you can probably apply that to Halo 5. But we're going to talk a little bit about the Master Chief Collection and Halo in general, and just spitball around and get some good talks going on. So how's it going, Cursed?
Hey, what's going on?
All right, could you just give us a background of yourself? It doesn't even have to be strictly with gaming. Just, what you've done in your life and how you got involved in gaming, I guess you could say too.
Oh, geez. Well, I was born in a log cabin in northern Michigan. No, I wasn't actually.
I was going to
Um,
say, wait. This could get
I was
interesting.
I was born in Detroit. Uh, Lived in Michigan for almost all my life, but I currently live in Nashville. I'll be going back there some time. But I've always played video games. Video games was kind of because I've always been kind of a not a shut-in, but just someone who likes to spend time by himself indoors and just kind of mellow out. I don't know if you call me introverted, but video games were a good escape for doing that. And you every adolescent boy loves playing video games, but you know, it depends on the type of person whether or not they keep playing them into their late 20s like I
Yeah,
am now.
yeah,
But
I understand
I
completely.
my friend Jesse, who I don't know if anybody remembers him from way back in the early Halo 2 days. His tag was Forshetta, and he basically got me into Halo. Like I had played Halo and from the first day it came out, but
Oh,
I didn't
really? Even
realize it.
Halo 1?
Oh yeah, I didn't own it until Halo 2, but I'd played it, you know, on launch. I kept playing it, but I wasn't aware of competitive Halo or really anything about the community at all until just after Halo 2 dropped, and that's when I went and actually got an Xbox and started playing and started getting into the MLG community and realized there was this whole like Halo universe out there that I wasn't aware of, and there was a lot of people in Michigan that played Halo, and I have some really great memories of Halo lands over in on the west side of the state and in Lansing, playing with all the Michigan pros and just real late night tournaments and stuff like that, like 32 teams of four in one state with
Dude.
some really major league talent. I think back in from 2004 to 2006 ish, 7ish. I think Michigan Halo was one of the hotbeds in the entire country with like like Kansas and Florida and I don't know, maybe like Jersey or something like that. But and slowly and surely with the decline of the Halo series, here I am now, bitterly bitching about it like 10 years later, like a
Your
crotchety
prayers
old man.
answered. Your prayers were answered, though.
Oh man, you know what though? They so were, and I can't believe that that actually happened. I'm still kind of in shock that I'm finally gonna be able to be happy about Halo again because I got so used to just dumping on Halo all the time. It was like my favorite pastime because I was like,
Yeah, right.
it's never gonna get better. So I could just keep being cynical about it because I know that I'm never going to be able to
Yeah,
find a
so who
reason to be
cares?
happy about. Yeah, I'm never going to be happy about it again. So I'm just going to make a hobby out of it. And then in one E3 announcement, my whole world gets turned upside fucking down, and I'm sitting here like just shaking my fists, waiting for November. And I'm gonna go drop like 500 bones or whatever it's gonna cost me to get all this stuff, and just totally like whatever semblance of a life I had is gone. It's just gone.
That's what I'm trying to balance too, man, because I was planning on getting an Xbox One, and then I have an internship, so I saved up for it, and then it got announced, so I was like, wow, this is great and bad because it's in the middle of a semester of college. It's like, Jesus Christ, like what is gonna happen here? This is just, I don't know, man.
It's dangerous to be
Yeah.
sure.
I actually
Not
had
gonna get much sleep.
Oh yeah, I actually had as like one of my last questions. I was just gonna say, did you cry when Master Chief Collection was announced? But I don't
Uh,
know.
Well, the what was left of the child inside me cried, I think,
Yeah, right.
which will maybe slowly grow back. But I was kind of numb to it at first because the first thing that naturally that I started thinking was, all right, how did they fuck it up? What did they do? There's got to be
Yeah.
something
That's
because there's
everyone too
always
thinking
something.
that.
I mean, every single Halo game that dropped, we kept getting these sound bites, these really optimistic chunks of information that didn't actually say anything at all, but people would go gaga over it. When they first announced armor abilities, everybody went ape shit. I mean, like in a good way. People are like, "Oh my god, this is gonna bring back competitive Halo. It's the greatest idea in the world. It's gonna make the meta was the word was the hashtag of that period. It's gonna make the meta so deep, man." And then obviously Reach and Halo 4 dropped, and you could see it coming a mile away. It was just all terrible.
Yeah, that
And
was
then
not good.
this, man, I'm so happy. Like I can't even. There's no macho about it. There's no like trying to play it off like, oh yeah, I could get it this again. No,
Yeah.
I'm fucking stoked. Like I
That's
am
funny.
just beside myself. It's great. It's good for Halo. It's good for the community. I've seen so many people come back, like faces I thought I'd never see again, like just peeking back into the community, and they'd be like, yo, guys, hey, I heard that, yada, 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 Halo's coming back. And we're like, fuck yeah, it's coming back.
Yeah, it's
Get back here.
awesome,
You
man.
got some time to make up.
Yeah,
It's, yeah. And I don't know what's going to become of like, is there going to be tournaments for Halo 1 and Halo 2? How that's going to develop. Is it going to get picked up by MLG again? Is there going to be another independent circuit that's going to come up and kind of take the reins there? And frankly, I don't care because ultimately, if there was not a single Halo 1 or Halo 2 tournament that ever happens from this point on, I could still hop on Xbox Live and play it whenever the hell I want
yeah.
with dedicated servers.
I know it's
I mean,
oh,
I would
it's like
trade. Yeah.
unimaginable.
Yeah. It's absolutely fantastic. I'm just unbelievably happy and not afraid to admit how much of a bitch I'm being about it. I
Yeah,
could
I
cry.
think
Like that's,
everyone's the same way though. I don't think you're alone with that, man. Everyone is like in disbelief. Honestly, I was the same way. Like you said, you were numb. When I saw them announce it, I was like, wait. First, I thought it was just Halo 2, and I was like, wow, this is gonna be sick. And then I was like, wait, what just happened? Did they just say Halo 1 on Xbox Live? Like, is this real life? Like, oh my god, it's incredible. But what you were saying, all right, even though you were just saying it wouldn't really matter with having like any games on the circuit, what game do you think could actually last if they had to pick a game?
if if for some reason, because obviously Halo 3 never went out of service, but everyone who played Halo 3, I think, just kept going on with Reach and with Halo 4. If Halo 3 had gotten if Halo 3 had gotten the shaft like Halo 2 did and gotten taken off Xbox Live, and all of a sudden everybody said, oh my God, Halo 3 is coming back. And if that was in like the standard definition era, and all of a sudden it was getting like 60 frames per second with dead ease, I think Halo 3 would just be off the charts because people went ape shit over that game. That was MLG's highest or most profitable period in terms of Halo.
Yeah, for sure.
So that becomes interesting because I'm wondering how many people are actually going to want to go back to Halo 2. I know that there is a crowd out there, but I'm not sure how big it's going to be as far as people who are willing to put in the time to actually grind it and get better at it and show up at tournaments and drive distances, spend money and all
Yeah.
that. Like there's a the really hardcore dedicated fan base for Halo 1 that is still out there, but it's a really small number of people, and I don't know if I feel like that Halo 2 has that same thing. I don't think that Halo 1 is going to be like a big blockbuster event in the Halo world. I think it'll be popular because for all the I think for all the the bitching and moaning and explaining and elaborating that a lot of people like myself have done
You and CT,
about
man. You and fucking
yeah,
CT.
we just wrote like
That's so funny.
so many words, man. Filled up like 3 novels worth of just a nice big trilogy of Halo 1 knowledge, just dropping all over the internet. And I think to some extent that's gotten through to a lot of people.
Oh, it has for sure.
Yeah. If nothing else, they'll check it out. Whether they stay, who's to say? But so it's kind of sitting between Halo 2 and Halo 3 because they dropped it at such particular times. I'm not sure, because I don't think people are going to go back to Halo 3 because they've always been able to go back to Halo 3 and they haven't really ever done that. But at the same time, I'm not sure if they're going to go back to Halo 2 because I don't know if there are enough Halo players active in the community anymore that were around for the glory days of Halo 2 and can really appreciate it. Because if you go to and like try to explain what was so good about Halo 2, someone who likes Halo 3 is just gonna be like, well, yeah, we had that in Halo 3 too.
Well, they're just fucking dumb though, man. That pisses me off.
And you're gonna be like,
that's so annoying because I loved Halo 3, but I actually wish I had played Halo 2. Like, I'm the kid you're talking about, except I have the opposite thought process where I was like, wow, I really missed out. When there's the Halo 3 kids that you're talking about that are like, no, man, like, Halo 3 was the shit. Like, no, not at all. Like, I wish I could have played Halo 2 back then, man.
Well, like, ultimately, in trying to be as objective as possible, they're technically, like, from the standpoint of talking about the experience of Halo 2 versus Halo 3, there really wasn't that much of a difference, so to speak. A lot of the magic of Halo 2 was because that game literally created the lobby system and social experience that we know it today as far as console games go. Like, that created online multiplayer as we see it now for games on console. And it was kind of like just breaking into this whole online world that wasn't really accessible for console gamers at the time. I mean, obviously, people have been playing online PC stuff for like 20 years prior to that. I might be exaggerating.
Yeah, the Master Race.
But yeah, and which is great. But a lot of people who grew up on playing Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Nintendo 64, PlayStation, and stuff like that, they didn't really, if they never ventured over to PC gaming, they didn't really know what online gaming was like. And all of a sudden, Halo 2 came out, and everything followed in line after that. And it was just like a just big explosion in like wide-eyed wonder. I remember when I first got Halo 2, when I first actually bought my own Xbox and sat down with it at home. I stayed up for like 10 straight hours, just kind of like walking around in games and just being like, wow, this is awesome.
That's hilarious.
So yeah, we were just kind of like, we were a bunch of like Bambis about it. We were just young and not easy to impress, but it was just something totally new for us. Mm-hmm. And then when Halo 3 came out, it was kind of like there were a bunch of people who they didn't get that experience from Halo 2. They ended up getting that experience from Halo 3. And then people who played Halo 2 and they started playing Halo 3 and they were like, yeah, whatever, it's not as good.
Right.
So you try to explain to someone what was so good about Halo 2, and they're going to be like, I don't see what the difference is between Halo 3. And the guy's going to be like, no, but it was totally better in the Halo 2 days, man. You had to be there. You don't understand. And so you can't really explain what was so good in 2004 and 2005. Because it wasn't really about the game itself. It was about the atmosphere and the discovery behind it.
Right.
And I don't know if that can necessarily be replicated now that Halo 2 is coming back. I mean, I'm going to play the shit out of it.
Yeah.
Halo 1 and Halo 2. I'm going to play them I'm just going to lose my life.
Break your fucking Xbox One, man.
Oh,
You're going to burn it out.
It's going to be great. But as far as like trying to entice other people to come back and play it, it's kind of like, because I can't say that Halo 2 is the ultimate competitive game, because it's not, because we have Halo 1 for that. So then you sit there and you're like, how do you how do you tell people that the casual experience of Halo 2 is better than the casual experience of Halo 3 when Halo 3 technically has more to offer in that arena? You can't really do that, so I'm not sure that Halo 2 is going to get the kind of backing necessary to really hit it off as far as a local scene is concerned. I'd love to be proven wrong.
Right.
Obviously, I
Yeah.
would love for pretty much any Halo game. I would like to get picked up on some kind of circuit. I think I'd be absolutely ecstatic, and I would try my best to travel and make those dates. But I guess the short answer to the question is I don't know, but I'm really anxious to find out.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's weird how I never thought about that. Like you're saying that because the people of Halo 2, like, it's like people that started with Halo 2 have the same type of experience with the people that started in Halo 3. Like, not with game wise, but just like getting into it, and it's like their first time, so it's awesome to them. Like, it's even for some people, Halo, going back to Halo 3 Glory Days is nostalgic, but for people like you, like Halo 2 and Halo 1 is like that. But I could
Yeah.
I could see the pros pushing for Halo 2. That's why I think it might go Halo 2. Like right now, people are playing Halo 3 because that's all they have to play besides like Halo 2 Vista, but not everyone can set that up. But I could see when Halo 2, Halo 1 come out on MCC that all the pros are going to swarm to those games, so then all the casuals are going to be like, oh, I want to match up with pros. Because that's what I used to do. I used to jump in the MLG playlist and play for fucking ever because I would be like, I want to play pros. Like, I want to play against the best people. That's what everyone wants. So if they're on Halo 2, I think people are going to be going for Halo 2 depending how playlists work out with that game. So that's a tough question to answer. You're right.
Well, one thing is that I think most of the pros that are around today either got their start in Halo 3 or actually like started making waves in Halo 3. Because there were a lot of people from Halo 2 that didn't actually start placing like top 5, top 3 or whatever until they started playing Halo 3. He's not really around anymore, but SK was a perfect example of that. And so I think that a lot of the pros I think would be down for Halo 3 more than anything. But again, I don't know if there's really that much interest in Halo 3, so that might pressure them to try to find something else. Because ultimately, the thing about being a gaming personality these days is you go where the interest is.
Yeah, for sure.
You don't really sit there and try to force people to like what you like. You kind of just go with the flow and go where the viewers are and go with what's going to attract streamers and stuff like that and what's going to bring you the most attention. So it's almost kind of like a sellout atmosphere, and I don't blame anybody for that. You know, it is what it is. But if there's not enough interest in Halo 3, then I honestly feel like it's going to be a toss-up. I don't know if by the time that Halo 5 drops, people are just going to start focusing on that completely.
I don't know, man. That could be the same mistake. I mean, see, Halo 5 should be better, though. I'm assuming everyone is thinking it's going to be better based on what 343's been doing. But if Halo 5 fucking sucks and the ranking system sucks, I'm thinking that everyone needs to be like, screw that game. We have all these games that we can work with. You know what I mean? Like, that's what Smash basically did. Like, that's what they fucking did, and now they have viewers. It's a hard decision to make, though, to go against the developer. But if I mean, okay, they're awesome for making the Master Chief Collection. That's fucking sick. But if they somehow fuck up Halo 5, like, it's just that's so annoying to just think about that. I don't know.
Well, Smash has always had a better grassroots community than Halo has, and that's just a product of being part of the general fighting game community, which has a much more organized fan base, I think, than the first-person shooter community does, at least for console games. Because to be perfectly frank about it, well, I mean, first of all, playing fighting games online is kind of it's kind of shitty because fighting games are so based on reflexes and reaction time. Trying to play even with a modest ping is almost impossible. So a lot of emphasis is placed on local meetups and local tournaments, local events of any kind. And so the fighting game has done a really, or fighting game community has done a really good job of fostering that kind of support. And that's something that Halo, we had it when times were good. And that's not really a good test of whether or not, we had any metal behind our community. And ultimately, when things went south with Halo, the community completely evaporated.
Yeah, that,
Which
that was me. I was out Halo Reach. I was like, oh wait, you can jetpack. Fuck you.
And I mean, you can't blame us because like it was just a linear downward slide starting from the first game as far as competitive value is concerned. And by the time you hit Halo 4, it's like, how can anybody still have the patience to stick around for this? But ultimately, with the release of MCC, I'm not sure what's going to happen. We definitely have the opportunity to make things better for ourselves. Whether or not we'll stick with it this time, something I think remains to be seen. But I'm hopeful.
Me too. I mean, I just think people will play, man. I think it's gonna be big. I try to freaking tell random people, like people that don't even play as much video games, because it could be so huge. People like that never really got to experience Halo when it was good. They're gonna be in for a treat. I feel like they're not ready for it. But if enough people play, and like you're saying with personalities, Call of Duty was so lucky that their game switches. I mean, see, it's like their downfall. And what's good is that they change every year, because if they have a really shitty game, they're like, oh, the next one will be good. When for us, we had Halo like 3 that was, of course, people still say it was worse than Halo 2 and 1. But then you get Halo Reach and you're like, wow, we have to wait like 2 years, And then
Yeah.
Halo 4, and then you're like, wait, like what the fuck is going on? Because, I mean, a span of 5 years or longer, people are going to go away. Like, you're not going to wait 5 years for not like a good game after Halo Reach and Halo 4. But now people, it's funny to see the pros that still are coming back just on streams when you're like, wow, this person's still around. But it's because people fucking, they loved playing the game. They love, like, Halo 2 and Halo 3, like, classic Halo. That's why, like, me and you, like, you're going to play it a lot. I'm definitely going to play it a lot just because I miss playing. And like you're saying, where you would say you might be introverted because you just like, playing video games alone or doing whatever. That's like my parents, they don't understand that sometimes I would much rather play a game like that for 6 hours than go do anything else. And I don't regret it at all. Like, I did it in high school occasionally. Like, I would do other things, but it's just those games when they're that good, you can't get enough of them, man. You really
Oh
can't.
yeah, like and I've had my battles with these guys throughout the years, but the Halo 1 scene, you know, to their credit, and this stands against anything that I could say, they keep showing up year after year, driving across the country for these events that, maybe they get a grand total of 50 people there, but they keep going because it's that valuable to them. And it's just that good of an experience. And I think that we can have that kind of thing across the board for Halo. And it's going to be interesting to see how all of the games are integrated. As far as, like, you throw a tournament, you use all the games, you only use certain games in certain locations. Like, the logistics of that, I don't even know if they're really important right now, because right now we're all kids in the candy store and we're just flipping our shit. We even have that. This is like a wonderful problem to have.
Oh yeah, for
Sitting here
sure.
going, what do we do? We got the greatest opportunity ever, and I'm just flipping out because I've never even thought about it. Because who would have thought that we would ever have something like this to utilize. And now we're sitting here scrambling around going, oh my God, we got to get ready for this. We got to get ready for this. We're not ready for this. And I'm like, I'm just sitting here kind of just with my hands behind my head, just basking in it. Cause I'm like, this is great.
Yeah, this is the greatest problem to have ever.
Yeah.
All right. We just talked about a lot of shit, but I'm going to start going back into actual questions. But I mean, that was a good talk. That's what I like to get out, because it's going to be hard for them to pick a game. It's going to be cool to see the numbers too. You know, Coach Man will be all over that, man. He'll be like, Halo 2 has this many numbers, Halo 1 has this many numbers.
And every time I'm going to ask them what they mean.
All right. Straying away from all this, I don't even want to ask people this question, but because yours is so weird, how did you get the gamer tag, the Cursed Lemon? I was trying to think of how you could have done it, and I just don't understand.
Oh, it's a totally boring, stupid story. Okay, I actually kind of remember myself. It's been a long time. So way back in the day, I used to play StarCraft, Brood War with Freshetta, and I didn't really know how to play the game at the time. So we would just run twos against the computer, and at the time I was using the alias Spawn Man, because I was making fun of Chris Cornell, the way he said Spoon Man in that song, that Soundgarden song.
I don't know the song, but
it's a great song. You should look it up. And 9 times out of 10, I would get rushed by the computer and just slaughtered and didn't learn a goddamn thing. So we just decided that I was cursed, and so we tacked on the word cursed onto Spawn Man. So for a while, my alias was Cursed Spawn Man. Then, like, a year later or something, like, this is when people actually still used AIM. I was trying to think of an AIM screen name. I was trying
to think of my AIM screen name with my friends, and I cannot remember it for the life of me, man.
Yep. I was browsing, like, I'm a kind of an anime nerd, and I was browsing random anime websites, and one of them said it had this line underneath this list of updates. It said, "Wholly updated Lemons Batman," and I was like, "There's something about that phrase that's delightfully random." Updated lemons. Yeah. I don't know why. It just struck me at the time. It makes no sense now, and I couldn't tell you why it was interesting at the time, because this was like 12 years ago. But so that became my screen name for a while. And after a while, I was like, I think I need like one alias, one singular name to go by that I can just use everywhere. Yeah. And I couldn't decide which name I liked better, so I just crammed them together and just came up with Cursed Lemon.
It's memorable, man. I can tell you that. It's got to be something memorable.
Yeah, it ended up being pretty appropriate, I think, because I feel like I have shitty luck and I'm bitter all the time. So
that is true. Well, not anymore.
Yeah, you know what? This totally, I feel like karmically at peace for this.
Yeah, right.
I feel like for all like the 7 or 8 years that I've suffered immensely over Halo, crying myself to sleep at night. I feel like, you know what? I think the universe is where it should be now.
Oh, yeah.
Everything is in alignment.
I know, and like I was saying when we were talking before this, that I just hope there isn't that one thing that they mess up that really throws everyone off. But I can't see anything coming that could really fuck it up. Like, it's too perfect. They can't ruin it.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like when we got all the tidbits pre-release for all the other Halo games, they would build the hype by slowly releasing information. Because I freaking hate when they do that. They give you just one tiny thing at a time.
Yeah.
But you would when they talked about equipment in Halo 3, I was like, this is a bad idea, guys. This is bad news. And everybody was like, no, fuck you, Lemon. You're being a Debbie Downer. This is going to be great for competitive play. And then it comes out and they're like, okay, we got to get rid of this like right now. Take it out. Take everything out. Use only like 3 or 4 of the maps because this is just awful. I was like, I told you so. And then Halo Reach, freaking sorry, I was on my phone going off. Halo Reach comes out and the pre-release hype and start talking about armor abilities. And everybody's like, "Oh man, armor lock is gonna be the greatest thing in the world.
Oh my God.
It's gonna totally balance out firefights and stuff like that." And we play the first couple weeks, and everybody's just got this horrified look on their face, like, "Oh my God, we were so wrong."
Oh
We were wrong
yeah.
about everything. I'm just sitting there like, man, you guys, you don't listen to me, and this is what happens.
Armor lock is the worst thing. It's hard to say, but I think that was the final straw for me. Like they added the sprint armor ability, and I was like, eh. They had jetpacks, and I was like, this still sucks. And then I went to kill someone, and he just punched the ground, and I was like, what just happened? And I'm just shooting, and nothing's happening. I remembered the first time, and I died, and I was just so confused. I was like, this is not Halo. Like
Armor
what?
lock is literally the worst thing that's ever happened.
Oh my god. When they took that out for Halo 4, that was like a huge relief, and then I realized that I mean Halo I would well, when they broke down Halo Reach, which I didn't even barely get to play it when they just completely broke it down to no sprint and all that. That was probably pretty
Yeah.
good. Better than Halo 4, but Halo 4 regular Halo 4 I actually like more than regular Halo Reach just because it could have been going from Halo 3 to Halo Reach because of how big of a change, and then Halo Reach to Halo 4 I wasn't expecting it to be like that great, so I liked it more, but I don't know, man. Those games just get on my nerves. Like I don't know what people are thinking. The fact that people on forums can come up with a better game design is just sad. Like come on.
I think that the things that I still don't trust anything that comes out of the developers' mouths.
Frankie's
As
coming,
far
man.
as like, as far as like saying like Frankie has been implying that that he and the rest of the team have kind of like seen the error of their ways as far as making things more COD like and playing more towards like short-term reward, that instant gratification type of thing. They were like, yeah, we were going for that, and it was a mistake. And I'm like, that still sounds like hot air to me. I'm not sure if you really understand what the mistakes you made were. But ultimately, like I keep telling people, even if Halo 5 is the worst game in the world, if somehow it's actually worse than Halo 4,
There's no way.
it's not. Yeah, we said that with Reach, and
If they, all right, we'll
I ate the
continue, but
biggest.
there's
Yeah,
no way.
I ate the biggest freaking shoe when Halo 4 dropped because I was like, there's no way. There's no way it could be worse than Reach. It was so much worse than Reach. So if Halo 5 is the worst game of the century, that's okay. Because Halo 5 will not define my Halo experience from this point forward. Because I can look at Halo 5 with just a lighter attitude, because ultimately I can just hop on it and have fun. I can, just dick around and do stupid things, because Halo's always been good for just doing stupid shit.
Yeah.
But when I want to actually get serious, I have two other games that I can go back and play that serve my purposes to a T.
I just
So
thought that
I
was-
don't have to.
Wait, I was
What's
just going to
that?
say, I
Yeah.
just thought it was funny because I thought you were just going to say, like, all the Halos, but you're just like, nah, just Halo 1 and Halo 2. You're not even going to touch Halo 3 or Halo 4 at all.
Those are three Halo games, 3 Reach and 4 that I'm literally never going to touch again.
Don't judge me on my Kool-Aid jammer. I had little cousins over, and they were leftover jammers, but they're delicious. But anyways.
Dude, if they made like bigger versions of those, I would drink them all the time.
I know.
But they just don't last long enough. That's what kills me.
Oh, yeah, you destroy them in a second, because my dad was going to give them all away, and I was like, wait, I've been killing those orange ones, man.
Mm-hmm.
But, all right, getting away from this, let's, after the gamer tag question, even though that was another 10 minutes, what was, like, your first, I guess we can just go with MLG event, because actually, MLG or LAN event, and do you have any, like, funny stories or anything like that? And did you ever compete?
I played a bunch of LANs in Michigan before I went to my first MLG event, Chicago 2007, which was actually not in Chicago, but it was in like a neighboring city called St. Paul, at this hotel called Pheasant Run, which is famous for Gandhi just hating the fuck out of it. I'd like to actually get his story as to why he hates that so much, because I never actually knew why, because I thought it was great.
Did he do bad there or something? Do you know?
No, he just hates the hotel. Like, I don't know why.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, maybe if you ask him sometime, he could probably tell you. But
I tried to get. I messaged him too. I think I just need like I was saying, do some more interviews, and then hopefully people will be like, ah, this kid's not that bad.
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, I played with all the Michigan pros, not regularly, but whenever we everybody congregated, gathered in Lansing, we would have these really big LAN tournaments back in 2005 and early 2006, and then that LAN center moved over to our side of the state, and that a lot of guys on the west side of the state couldn't really make the drive over a lot or as easy. But it still lasted for a little while, but eventually, like all LAN centers do, it closed down.
Yeah, that's the worst. They just can't sustain. It's so bad.
Yeah, and then I went to Chicago of '07, which is probably my favorite Halo memory. Although I really did like Columbus 2012. I ended up going to that, and that was pretty cool.
Oh yeah, I heard that was good.
Yeah, it was really neat. But as far as funny stories go, I was rooming with let's see, I was with Siren, Legolas, and Iced Blue. If anybody remember those guys from the MLG forum, and like I think, how old was I at the time? I think I was 21. No, I couldn't have been, because I think the way it was Ice Blue was the only person who was of legal drinking age in the in our hotel room, and there was beer all over the place. Like, we had empty bottles just everywhere, and we were getting really, really loud, and we had Archive in the room, who was an MLG referee at the time. I don't know if he still is or not. I'm sure some people out there remember Archive, but he was in our room, and he was like, not drinking or anything, because he's a referee. If he,
Oh my God,
if he got bombed or something and show up to a match wasted,
That would be hilarious.
So all of a sudden, out of nowhere, and Ice Blue is just absolutely shit faced, as were a lot of people. He just goes and just grabs Archive by the waist and just tackles him onto the floor and just starts wrestling with him. And everybody is just yelling really loudly. It's like 1 a.m. Everybody's gone to bed. Like, people weren't even landing anymore.
Pros gotta get their sleep.
Yeah, and so everybody just kind of jumps on it. It's this big dog pile, and out of nowhere, one of our other friends named Stubbs, he like, Ice Blue is just flat on the ground, and Stubbs just, for no reason, just like runs up to him, takes a squat, pulls his shorts aside, and just teabags him right on the fucking forehead.
No.
And Legolas actually has this on video somewhere. And then like, not
Yo,
like
you gotta
5
get
seconds
that
later.
shit.
Oh, I've bugged him so many times. Then not 5 seconds later, there's a knock on the door, and it's hotel security. And without even like composing himself or getting up off of Ice Blue, Stubbs just opens the door. He's just sitting on his chest. And the hotel guy has got like his flashlight, and he's like shining it in the room. And he's like, all right, I just want to see one person's ID, and then we'll leave. And you guys got to keep it down. So like, everybody's freaking out. And I think Ice Blue gets up, and he's like stumbling around, and there was like 5 open beer bottles on the this ironing board. We had the ironing board out for some reason, and he knocks them all over, and they are spilling all over everybody's luggage and shit. And the hotel security goes up to Archive, and he's like freaking out because he's like, oh my God, I'm gonna get fired. I'm gonna get fired. And the security guy is like, have you been drinking? And he's like, no. And he's like, are you sure? Because you're slurring your words. And he's like, no, I haven't been drinking. And ultimately, like, I think some people got kicked out of their room or something like that. And we didn't stop making noise. We just kept annoying people throughout the night. But I think everybody kind of got like, oh shit, we actually have to calm down now.
Yeah, that happens a lot when people are getting like real rowdy. Because you don't realize how loud you are until something like that happens. And you're like, wait, were we really the loudest people in the hotel? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that we were.
That's pretty funny, though.
That is probably my at least one of my favorite Halo memories, though, and probably specifically that whole sequence.
Dude, have you seen the video? Like, you saw the video, but he won't give it to anyone?
I don't even know if he has it anymore, but like just being there in person was good enough
Yeah,
for me.
that's so funny, though. All right. Um, all from that. Well, when did you go to like Halo 2 events? Was that a Halo 2 event?
That was the only Halo 2 event that I went to. Because obviously 2007 was the last season that Halo 2 was played. And before then, I just couldn't really make it out there by myself because I didn't have the money.
Yeah.
I was only like, I was 19 or 20, and I didn't have I didn't have a full-time job at the time, so I didn't have money to like, I didn't have like
Yeah.
$300 to blow on gas
That's me
in the
completely
hotel room.
too. I was so
Yeah.
upset about that because I wanted to go. Actually, here's a quick story on my part. I get into my high school was only 3 years, 10th, 11th, and 12th. And in ninth grade, I had gone to Meadows and just like watched, just spectated, like walked around, and I thought it was awesome. Like I wanted to do it so bad. So I plan a year ahead. Well, maybe not a year, but whenever they announced Meadows for the following year, which was in 10th grade, I planned to go. I had a team. Everything is paid for. And I'm sitting at lunch. I will never forget this. I'm sitting at lunch. One of my good friends was one of the only people with me. And then there's these two girls, and they're talking about whatever. And they're talking about the dance, like the sophomore dance. And she's like, "Oh yeah, something about it being like whatever May 23rd," and it was the day. I don't know if that's the specific day, but it was the day of the Halo tournament, and I was like, no way, because I knew that I don't know if I was dating someone at the time or not, but she would like kill me for not going, and I'm like, no way, and I didn't make like a big deal that, oh, I play gaming competitively. Like I'm not gonna go around school and be like that. You know what I mean? So I'm like, oh my god, because all my friends are gonna be like, dude, you can't skip the dance for that, and I was just like, hell no, I'm going to this fucking tournament. There's no way I'm going to that dance.
That's the way.
Yeah,
That a boy.
dude, and I
That
posted.
was a good decision.
Oh, it was the best decision ever. Like fuck that. But I posted on the MLG forums at that time. It must have been 09 probably, and I think it was like Ghostyami or someone from Carbon commented it and said that they skipped their senior prom to go to a Halo tournament. And when I read that, I was like, oh, all right, it's done deal. Like I'm not going. But that was the one tournament I went to, and I was so happy. I did awful. My team didn't practice. Like I was pissed. We got shit on. I think we lost like all of our games, and I didn't even know what happened. Like I didn't even have headphones or anything. I went in and I had like a Xbox Live mic, and I was just confused and we got wrecked, but I was so happy that it went. But it's
Oh
just
yeah.
funny how that works out.
You reminded me of there's this apocryphal story from way back in the day about how Neighbor, because obviously he used to be known as Toxin's neighbor,
Oh
he
yeah.
like walked up to Toxin in school with like these bungee like stat
Oh,
sheets printed out, and he's like, "Are you STK approved?"
yeah, who wait, who talked about that? Because I heard that
I
before, but I
can't
don't know
remember.
when.
I don't know
That
who told the story, but
that is, yeah, I remember because he would just wanted to beat him or something, and he literally went up to him with the freaking stats.
yeah, I
That's
can't
so
remember.
funny.
But oh god, I wish I could remember who told that story now. 'Cause
Someone,
just yeah.
if like 100 people even watch this video, I'll post it on Team Beyond. Someone's got to remember. There has to be. There's always that weird person. You could post any thread on like Team Beyond, and someone would be like, "Oh, were you looking for this thread from 10 years ago?" Yes, that's exactly what I was looking for.
We are pretty good about that.
It's
I have to
crazy. I will post. I could post anything and be so vague about it, and say I remember this happening, and someone will within an hour someone will have it up on there. It's awesome.
Mhm.
I love it. All right, back to the questions. We're not. There's no way we're getting through all these questions. It's already been like 35, 40 minutes. But oh,
I'll make it shorter.
I was gonna say, what Halo Pro did you notice was just way better than other pros? Do you think when you first started watching or paying attention? Like, who do you think like is someone that was just ridiculous to you?
Well, I think that having gotten into the competitive community when I did, which was like late 2004, early 2005, ultimately the only people that you were really hearing about was the ogres. They were just ruining everyone and everything. And ultimately, like, you don't get better than the ogres. So, and even like historically now, Ogre 2 is still the greatest Halo player that's ever lived. So he, that was the, those two struck me the most because they were kind of just the ones that I heard about. My favorite pro, probably to this day, is still Saiyan.
Really? I never even
Yeah.
got to watch Saiyan, really. Did he even play Halo 3? Probably not.
No, he, well, I don't know if he, no, I don't think so because after he got kicked off of Final Boss, he made a team for one event, a team called Make It Rain with Detach and a couple other people that I can't remember. And then I think that was the last time that he went to an event and competed, obviously. I think he was just done after that because he didn't want to do it anymore. But I will always remember. I mean, there's obviously that clip of him going absolutely bonkers on everyone on Chill Out.
Yeah, I've
The
seen
someone
that.
stop him
Yeah,
clip.
that
But
that
there's
that's
also
awesome.
yeah, but there's also I don't know how many people remember this, but it was a Beaver Creek game against Straight Rippin'. He's down in I want to say it was red base. I'm pretty sure. Actually, it might have been blue base. It might be getting totally twisted around, but he's in the bottom walkway and legit shows up right in front of him with a shotgun. He literally jumps over legit's shotgun blast and BXRs him right in the face. It was the most amazing kill I've ever seen in a Halo game, and I got to see it like live when it happened.
That's awesome.
I think this was when you still had to like pay for VOD at the time.
Yeah.
And I yelled so loud and almost fell off my chair. Probably more than anything, maybe the Walshy double kill on
Oh, on
Lockouts up there
Lockout.
too.
Oh
But
my God, I've
yeah,
seen that video. I was confused when I saw that. I was like, oh my goodness. Yeah,
because
that.
the Saiyan play, I don't think there was any announcers that were casting over it at the time. So
Really?
all
It
you
was
heard
just
was,
straight gameplay.
and I think you hear legit saying like, "Are you serious?" or something like that. It's just a great sequence, and if someone could find that for me, I would be eternally grateful.
Oh, you already know. Someone has it ready. It's
Oh, yeah.
it's already on the forums right now. No, but speaking of clips like that, I mean, I got into competitive Halo through someone from my school, but besides that, when I was hearing about the ogres, Ogre 1, I believe, had a triple kill on Lockout when he has ball at snipe.
Oh
He
yeah.
just puts the
Oh
ball
yeah.
down and just makes quick work of 3 people, and
Yeah, I was playing Carbon.
I could not believe it when I saw that because at the time I was playing, I think, Halo 3, and I was just looking back at throwback things, and I didn't know
Mm-hmm.
anything. I thought I was cool when I got a no scope, and I saw that, and I was just amazed. I still watch that occasionally just because of how ridiculous I just think it is. It's like, oh yeah, I have the ball, I'm getting some time up, I'm gonna drop it, triple kill, oh, pick it back up.
Oh man, it was the most casual play in the world
I
because
know, it's
he just
awesome.
drops it, 3 snipes top blue, picks it back up. All right, guys, let's set up.
Yeah, it's so funny how that.
That and the legendary 41-0 gameplay.
That's true. That's true. I watch all that stuff. That's what I'm saying. Like, see, I was a Halo 3 kid, but I wish I was a Halo 2 kid, man. I love watching that stuff. I just wish I could have experienced that stuff.
It was a lot more raw back then. Like,
Huh? Raw,
obviously,
uncut Halo?
oh, absolutely. Because like,
AGL?
first of all,
That's what I was hinting at,
well,
but just forget
well,
AGL.
yeah, right. Well, the thing about it was just like it was so much more informal and like obviously, now that like professional gamers have so much exposure, they kind of have to clean up their personalities a bit. But I mean, the F bombs that would get thrown over the TVs back in like 2005, 2006 were just numerous. And, to get like a penalty for like like an unsportsmanlike penalty like that,
Yeah.
you had to just go way over the top, like way over the top.
I saw
Um,
someone's parent get involved at the Halo 3 tournament I went to. It was the weirdest thing I've ever experienced because first of all, like my parents they're like, "Oh, do you want us to come watch whatever?" And I just told them, "No, it really doesn't matter. Like I'm playing Halo. I don't want you to be standing behind me. That's just weird." But there was some dad. He had given my team, or no, never mind. That was a different person. But this dad was on the thing, and I don't know what I would do in that situation because I'm not a parent. But someone was just shitting on his son, and just flipping out like, "You fucking suck, kid. Never play this game again." And then they went real overboard, and the ref was starting to get involved, but this dad just stood up, looked like straight in this kid's eyes, through his eyes, and was like, "I will beat the fucking shit out of you if you say another word to my son." Like, I'm just standing behind the rope, so confused, and the dude on the other team that was talking shit is like, "Yo, man, what are you talking about? Like, what are you sticking up for your son for? Like, it's part of the game and all this stuff." It was crazy. Oh
oh my
man.
god, that sounds like early Halo
Yeah.
2.
Oh, yeah. You didn't see much of that at Halo 3 events because normally they would crack down, but it was like just this one game. I don't know. Maybe the ref was drunk, like you were saying. He went drunk. He was enjoying it, and then the dad got involved, and then
Mm.
things went downhill from there.
That's
That's
why I always
funny.
laughed whenever the referee Krillin, if anybody remembers him, the MLG referee, who's just this massive, imposing individual who was really into bodybuilding and stuff. And he would just stand there next to these gaming stations, and people would just be like, have their shoulders up and their knees tucked in and just looking at him like, I can't say anything. This guy's going to beat the living shit out of me.
That's awesome.
He always kept his games in line because he was just, and he's the nicest guy in the world. Like, just one of the most friendly people I've ever had the privilege of meeting. But
Yeah,
he is like, well over 6 feet and just terrifying
that's so
to
funny.
behold. So I was always like, whenever I went to compete in an event, I was like, I hope I get Krillin as my ref because I'm not gonna have to worry about anything getting out of hand.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. I think I was thinking about doing refereeing. Do you know if do they get like their flight and stuff paid for? That's what I think was really.
I don't ever think I knew what the benefits of being a ref were. I have to imagine that they at least got their flights paid for.
Yeah, I would
Uh,
hope.
yeah, I'm not. If I had Archives contact info, I could ask him in a heartbeat. I'm not even. He might even still be doing that. I'm not sure, but he was a ref for a long time.
Huh. I've never seen a ref get like super involved, but I mean now, like you're saying, it's just keeping people in line, and it seems like with Call of Duty, people are getting banned and shit. Like Aches or something got in trouble because he's just been talking shit on MLG pretty much. So I don't know. People, I just hate the ignorance of some people when they talk down to MLG like they're a fucking business. They have to make business decisions. Can you just like be in their shoes for a second and realize like when they dropped Halo, it wasn't a there's no way they could have made money with it. Everyone was leaving the game. Like how are you going to blame MLG for that?
MLG did make some bad decisions in
Oh,
regards to Halo. Like the
Sundance
whole,
hinting that
well,
that
yeah,
stuff.
that got a little bit old. But one of the worst things was the way they treated the Forge community in Halo 3 when we finally got the ability to edit and create maps and Killa KC just kind of cockblocked everybody who was trying to make these really good maps and nothing got thorough testing and no options were really explored because there were so many great maps out there and that all we ever played was Amp and Onslaught, which were
I
two just
hated Amp so bad. I thought Onslaught was decent, but Amplified just pissed me off, man.
yeah, Amp was not good.
Oh my
And no
god.
disrespect to Salad, he's a great map creator, but
Oh yeah, he is.
I absolutely hated both those maps with a passion. And it's not his fault that those were the only maps that they ever went with. So MLG did make a couple of bad decisions. I think way back in the day, there was this big stink on the forum about using the Halo update, or the Halo 2 update, I should say. They kind of postponed it for one event, and everybody was just getting absolutely peeved about it. But ultimately, I think MLG treated the community very well and probably held out a lot longer than they should have when interest started to go down. So I have nothing but respect for Sundance and Puckett and all those guys.
Yeah.
They know where their roots are at, but ultimately they know that not only are they a business, but the landscape is changing dramatically.
Yeah, so much.
The sources of revenue are constantly changing. It's not just about trying to pull sponsors in to put posters up in the venues and stuff like that. It's a lot more complicated now. The medium is different now. So and for them to have to evolve and follow those trends is not easy. You need basically an entire marketing department to tell you what to do.
Yeah.
And along the way, comes hard decisions. So I have no hard feelings towards anyone at MLG. They give me nothing but good memories, and I think anybody who's harping on them just kind of needs to get a reality check and understand that
Bring
there
the
was
suds
nothing.
in. Bring the suds.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just I loved MLG. Gave me some really wonderful memories. Met a lot of good friends. I have nothing bad to say about them.
Yeah. I mean, when you think about it, the people who are involved in it are lucky that it started pretty much with Halo, Like, imagine if 20, 30 years from now it's still going, you can think back and be like, wow, I went to, like, one of their first events. Maybe not one of their first, but even within their first 50 events, that's still cool to think that you were there when they were just starting up.
Oh yeah, it's I'm gonna look back on the stuff that I did with MLG and with Halo, and ultimately I'm gonna be proud, and I'm gonna be like, that was not wasted time.
Oh, not at all. That's
Not
what
in the slightest.
Yeah, that's what I told people about the whole 10th grade dance thing. They're like, "Oh yeah, how was it and everything?" And I'm like, "Hell of a lot better than a fucking dance would have been."